Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. I just thought I'd do a bit of a review as most of the key games at the bottom of the table have been played in round 24. The only team in and around the kind of area that my team Leeds are currently dealing with is Burnley. They play Sunderland, but as things stand, Burnley are getting relegated along with Wolverhampton Wanderers. This really is a case of who's going to get that third relegation place. As things stand, it could change, possibly tiny, really small chance for Burnley, but it's minuscule. But it will look a little bit easier for Burnley to potentially have a slight smidgy chance if they can beat Sunderland. However, Sunderland are 11th and, whilst not in the best form of their lives, are considerably further up the table than Burnley. So, Leeds got hammered again by Arsenal. Thank God we don't have to play those buggers again this season. I'm just glad to see the back of them. Don't want to see Leeds play Arsenal at all. They are Leeds' new bogey side. By a country mile. They've walloped 9 goals against us this season, and when you look at that goal difference, if you take those 2 games in isolation out of the way, then we would have conceded 33 instead of 42. That's a pretty damning indictment of the situation there. However, even though we've lost the goal difference advantage that we had of the teams below us, it's still better than the bottom 3, but it's now on a par with Nottingham Forest. So, what happened over the weekend then? As far as those bottom teams are concerned, as you can see, Wolves lost, which is inconsequential because they're going down. Burnley still to play, but are miles off being safe. I say miles, only 5 points off, but it seems unlikely, doesn't it, at the moment at least. West Ham lost, which is really helpful as far as Leeds are concerned. They lost 3-2 against Chelsea, and if I remember right, West Ham had a 2-goal lead and scuppered it, which is great news for Leeds. Never would I ever want Chelsea to win a match, but if it benefits Leeds, then that's the exception. Nottingham Forest. Now this was probably the most key result of any of these teams in terms of those that are around Leeds. Some might argue that West Ham losing, I've got to admit, West Ham losing does help, because that gap stays at 6 points. But Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace, the 2 teams that Leeds are currently sandwiched between, got a draw, and I think that's incredibly beneficial for Leeds, because it still means that they're in the mix. It still means that they're kind of battling against everything going below them. And then Tottenham, jammy buggers. I got a glimpse of the final few minutes of both the draw between Forest and Palace, and also the draw between Tottenham and Man City. And that again, just like West Ham, scuppered a 2-goal lead. Like, 2 goals clearly isn't a 2-goal gap clearly isn't enough for the majority of teams these days. Which is quite sad, but again, game management. Got to show better game management. You've just got to be more solid defensively than what the attacking is of the opponent. But if you don't show that, then the opponent will eat a 2-goal gap for breakfast and either level it up or they'll even get enough momentum to even take the lead. So, as things stand at the moment, the draw, not the worst result in the world, because again it keeps Tottenham below that 30-point mark. So for me, as things stand at the moment, as long as teams stay below 30, then they are not completely clear of the bottom 3. Yes, 10 points is a big gap, but we've still got 14 games remaining of the season to play. Unless a dramatic drop of form happens, I think everyone from 13th and above is safe for this season now. But again, anything could change. From Leeds' point of view, the next match is absolutely crucial. We have to get in line with Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace from a points point of view and get up to that 29 mark. I would love it if Leeds could get to 30 before Tottenham, Palace and Forest do. It just gives a little bit more breathing space. So for me, that's crucial. Just the timing of it and everything. You know, every game's got an equal amount of importance, but just to give that little bit of breathing space, if Leeds can beat Nottingham Forest, then that will be helpful. And if I remember rightly, so unlike this weekend, was it last weekend where we had to play late or something? I think the Forest game's on I think it's on the Friday night. Let's have a look. 6th of February, which is the Friday. So it's under the lights at Ellen Road, which Leeds have been pretty good at in recent times. So Leeds really need to show some mettle on this one, and if they can get that win, get up to 29 points, get that goal difference back down to a minus single figure again instead of it being in double figures, then all of a sudden things are going to start looking a little bit rosier. Now don't get me wrong, away at Chelsea is going to be hard. The cup match, I really don't think we need the cup match now. I really don't. I hope we play all the players that just haven't played as much this season. I really do. Away at Villa's going to be hard. At home against Man City is going to be hard, albeit what I saw today, I wasn't all that impressed with them, to be honest. Defensively, they're weak. Up front, yep, fairly dangerous, but defensively, I think they're weak. Based on what I've just seen against Tottenham. I think after the Manchester City game, I think that things do ease up slightly for Leeds. Let's just have a look at Leeds' future fixtures. At home at Sunderland, I think we have to get a win from that. I think away at Palace, as a minimum, we can get a draw out of that. I think we can maybe even win that. But as a minimum, I'd be looking for a draw there. If we go on to the next page, at home against Brentford will be difficult because Brentford are doing alright this season. Unfortunately, away at Mignoux is going to be difficult. Never thought I'd be saying that. But then after that, we've got at home against Wolves, which again is it's a must win, isn't it? You know, at home against Burnley is a must win. I think we might squeeze a draw away at Bournemouth, you know. Away at Tottenham, hard to tell. It really is. A couple of weeks ago I was saying that Thomas Frank had to go, so I don't know. At home to Brighton will be difficult, and away at West Ham, final day of the season. There's so much riding on that, but it really is another one that Leeds potentially could win. Now, if I go back to the table, in my opinion, we need 4 more wins and 2 more draws out of the remaining games to stay up. So, where are we getting them? 4 wins, 2 draws. Win number 1, Forest. That Forest match, we have got to win it. I don't think we get anything from Chelsea. Forget the cup match. I don't think we get anything from Villa. I don't think we get anything from City. I'll come back to that Sunderland one. Let's just review the other fixtures. Palace away, I think could be one of the draws. I think that could be one of the draws. Come back to the Brentford one, come back to the Manure one. Home at Wolves, that's the second win. Home against Burnley's got to be the third win. And I think away at West Ham's got to be the 4th win. So it's leaving it late for that 4th win, unfortunately. Where did the 2 draws come from then? I think possibly Bournemouth. And I think possibly Palace. I think the Sunderland one needs to be a win or a draw. So there's not so much pressure to get anything against West Ham. Maybe that Sunderland game comes into play. I don't think Sunderland are that. I don't think they're that great. I think they've just had the element of surprise. I just think a lot of teams weren't really sure as to what Sunderland could potentially do this season. And they're obviously helped by having a player like Xhaka who's vastly experienced. But yeah, that's where I think everything's at, folks. According to this, I'll do a full match preview for the match against Forest. A bit closer to time when we know who's available. Obviously, from Leeds' point of view at the moment, if we have a look at the squad, I don't know if this is going to say who's injured or who's not injured or whatever. Stats. As things stand, Calvert-Lewin's still up there with the goals. We need Metcher back. Aronson's doing alright. Stack and Aronson are up there with assists. G&A obviously, Dom, and then Brent. Anton's up there as well. Minutes played, Gabby Godminson is so crucial. He's so crucial to what we're doing, I think, and that's why he's getting so many minutes. For the number of minutes played, Metcher's actually our best striker. I just think we've got to start playing with Dom and Lucas up front once Lucas gets fit. It works so well against the likes of Chelsea. And if it works well against a team like Chelsea, then surely you can make it work against other teams. I know that Farke came out and said, it's about whether the opposition team plays with width or not. So what? Make it work. Get 2 natural strikers up top. The only time when it's been scuppered is when the opposition's gone to 3 at the back to kind of match us man for man. It feels like a no-brainer to me, but it doesn't feel like that to Farke, and he's the one that's managing the whole thing. So, could do with All back as well. He's very good in that defence. He really is. Being that central defender. With Strauch and Road on either side, looks really good. But yeah, as I say, I'll do a match preview for the Forest game closer to the time when we know the injury status of the squad. But yep, as things stand at the moment, the results haven't gone too badly for Leeds, with Tottenham only drawing, Palace only drawing, Forest only drawing, and West Ham losing. And obviously we need to see what happens with Burnley, and Wolves lost, which is inconsequential. So I'll leave it there, folks. Big thank you for watching. Do please hype the video, do please like the video, and do please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. In the meantime, have a good one. See you next time. Bye for now.